So next up, we're going to be reviewing the Space Godzilla figure, which this one's kind of a novelty because it uses the Bandai mold of I think it was the MMS, or was like an early creations, but it's not a it's not a re-release. It uses the old mold, but it also retools it, which I find interesting. But alas, let's go over the sculpt and paint. The sculpt is actually, again, a pretty well, decently made sculpt. It's definitely old, but it's still pretty good. But the paint is quite iffy. The crown paint is pretty terrible. Like, it's only on one side. And, like, you got, like, this whole black area where it's not even painted. Plus, you got a few more black spines up here. The eyes, oh boy, the eyes. These are, like, as derpy as they get. Like tiny little orange eyes we have here. At least they're looking in somewhat of the same direction. And the tongue paint is actually done decently well. Like that's actually kind of good. But the teeth, oh man. It looks like he has straight up dentures, like straight up white strips of paint. Like that's essentially what this guy has. But we do have some decently applied paint for the little tusks at the sides, like the little side teeth for Space Godzilla. So that's good. Going on down, we have the crystals here, which have like a nice white to purple gradient. This I like. That's actually really nice. And we have some metallic red for the underbelly, and kind of starts from the neck all the way to where it meets the crotch, which that's actually really well done. I like how metallic and smooth that feels. The claws are painted in a mild, kind of like white yogurty spray. And it's a bit more thicker on this hand than it is this one, as you can kind of see. But, of course, it does look fine. Nice way to, like, highlight the details for what details are there. Same thing with the claws. They're fine painted. Well, on the feet, at least. They're decently painted. I would have liked some paint on the ankles, especially in, like, a potential reissue for this guy. But, I mean, this was fine as it was. For the spines, pure white. This entire piece is literally just white rubber. I don't think it's vinyl. Could be vinyl. But that's essentially what this figure is made of. Just hard plastics and vinyl. That's kind of like what the main theme of these figures are anyway. But the mold, again, it's still really good. And it's actually pretty movie accurate. They also got rid of that ugly gap, which was on the original. So if there's one thing I have to commend Playmates for, it's that they fixed one of the worst problems on one of the older Godzilla figures. And that I do appreciate. You also have some more of that detail. I mean, you can kind of see like where the skin would be, and I kind of wish there would have been some more like black paint kind of like running down, but then again, it'd probably look goopy. Something like this, because this is actually still a white strip. I can actually pull it out a little bit, and you can kind of see that it is in fact just a big white strip painted with the same kind of colored plastic, just color matching. But as you can see, it's got quite a bit of the spines here, like from here to here, and they are painted on the outer rows of films, but that's kind of like where they stop. And then here, it's just painted white for the crystal at the tip of the tail. And as you can kind of see, that's kind of it when it comes to the color. So he definitely has like the most color variety of the original series, but definitely not the best in terms of execution. Which again, I understand the paint job thing, like the whole rush job, whatever. I mean, you got to be a bit fair to where these figures were standing. It's again, that's the whole reason why they exist, because you can't really exactly release figures at a certain time when the movie is not even out. So, for articulation, we have a swivel here at the head, which actually kind of focusing in a little bit more. There you go. It can go a full 360. It has a little bit of like a clicking noise, which is not a ratchet. It's just the clickiness. The biceps are some of the most useless figure joints in history. Like, this is it. This is the range. I don't even know like where the articulating is cut. Like, I can kind of get to move up like that, but this is it. This arm, not so much either. This is it. Like, Yay, hours of fun, am I right? For the legs, this leg can kick up about this far up, can go backwards about that far, and I think this is from the original, but like there's a little gap there, so it's kind of similar to that of the NECA 94 Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, coincidentally the same film. And you can also rotate 360 at the foot. This foot, sorry, leg, this leg can go up about that far, backwards about that far, and this foot can also swivel all the way around. And this tail can pretty much go all the way around as well. No, there's nothing here, but this is where you like apply the figure, the tail socket. So overall for Space Godzilla, it's not bad actually. Like it's definitely, I would say, second worst if we're talking about quality, but it's definitely got some charm to it. Next up, we're gonna go over Gigan, and as you can see, this guy honestly this one's probably the best looking of the bunch. Like as far as the movie accuracy goes, this is probably the best one because, well, let's go over the sculpt. The sculpt is, I think, borrowed from one of the Bandai vinyls as well. I could be wrong about that, but as you can see, the head is rocking with detail. We got like the folds and the ridges on the neck part of the like Gigan because he is kind of like hybrid a bit. We have like the tiny little red dot, which I wasn't expecting them to paint, but they did. The red visor, which is practically painted pretty much flawlessly. The like top part of Gigan right here. We got like little side parts of Gigan, little like not the beak itself, but like the little pincers almost. And then we have like a metallic blue spray on the front of it, like right here. And then we kind of like it's essentially a black base with blue highlights, which is exactly how the suit is. And we have like this buzz saw, which doesn't move, but is still decently spiny. The claws are pretty well done. This is like before he gets the buzz saws, so not the buzz saws themselves. The elbow spikes are done pretty well, and we get some more like the folding and like more spines down here, like the kneecap spine, the shin spine, and the ankle spine. Kind of like if he knees you in the groin with this thing, or decides to come from behind and kick you, you're done. You're not coming back from that. But we got more like the detail, almost like the vein pipework type stuff. Almost looks like the inside of Kiryu, doesn't it? But we got more of like the spine sharp stuff. Don't worry, we'll get to the frills. And we have like all these individual spines that are not like sculpted, but they're like embridged together. But you know, it's fine, gets the job done. We have like the gray, then we have like the black, and then we get to like the pincer tail where it's like pure sharp and madness over here. And it looks great. It's made of like a squishy vinyl type material. Stop going out of focus. There we go. And obviously it's got like the four on them. And we got the various frills back here, which are made of a soft rubbery vinyl. And we have like the blue metallic lining that goes here on the top three. And it looks pretty well done. And of course the base red, pretty well done as well. But there's no paint on like the frills, like the veins part of them, which is a bit of a bummer. But again, considering the price point and considering how these guys were made, this guy actually turned out pretty well. So who knows how well Playmates would have cooked if they had more time. But for articulation, we have mild head rotation. It's kind of like, why would they feature a joint like this? I have no idea. Maybe the future ones have like a better head joint. I doubt it. The arm moves up about that far, backwards about that far. This one can go upwards about that far, backwards about that far. Can't really get it more than that. The legs can kick up about that far, backwards about that far. No foot swivel, oddly enough, but this one can go pretty much close to 360, like about that far forward and about this far back. I don't want to push it any more than it does. And we have a mild tail rotation right here. Nothing here at the base like Space Godzilla. So overall, Gigan is probably the best in terms of sheer quality and movie accuracy.